when it comes to relationships, and then when it comes to conflict, or when there's a lack of empathy, agreement, and understanding in relationships, it seems to me that the core virtue or the core kind of place that you come from is seek to understand, not to convince.
And why that is more effective is this, because if you can understand why they are behaving in this manner or why they have this set of beliefs, then you can figure out how best to address those beliefs and allow them to convince themselves that they are wrong and they need to choose a different perspective. Because nothing is stronger and will be more tenacious or have the tenacity than if somebody does it themselves rather than you force them to do it. If you try to compel somebody to do something, you may succeed, in the short term, but they're not going to like it, and eventually they're going to move on.
Right.
But if they decide themselves, this is what is best for me, it's going to last a lot longer. Just like I'm sure your father told you, just like mine told me, or whatever. Rather than give you something. If you earn it and you go out and buy it yourself, you're going to treat it a lot better, right?
For sure.
That kind of thing. It's going to last a lot longer. Because here's the thing. You can convince people of certain things and they get it. But depending upon how ingrained that thing is, understand that one's perception is one's reality. Even if their reality is not real, it is their reality. And to them, it is real. And you are not going to change somebody's reality if it's that deeply ingrained. All right, because their perception is their reality. So the more you attack their reality, the more defensive they're going to be about it. What you want to do, rather than convince them that they're wrong, is offer them a better perception. And if they resonate with your perception, they in turn will change their own reality because their perception is their reality.
Right.
So you cannot offer them a better perception until you first seek to understand why and how they arrived at that. So give you a hypothetical. Let's say that you have a 7 or 8 year old brother, and he has gone to a magic show with his friend and his friend's parents. And he comes home and says, Seth, you're not going to believe what I saw. This magician, he was on stage and he asked for a female volunteer, and 50 women raised their hand, and he picked out one and brought her up on stage and told her to climb into this box and stick her feet out the hole in that end and stick her head out the hole in this end. And then he closed the lid and he took a chainsaw and went right through the middle of the box. He cut her in half. And you're like, no, that didn't really happen. Yes, it did. I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes. You weren't there. I saw it. The saw went right through the wood, right through the bottom. And she was in the box. You're not going to tell him anything different. He knows what he saw.
Right.
His perception is that man cut that woman in half. That's a reality to him. And then to make it even more real, he tells you the magician then took the half with the feet sticking out and moved it over here to stage left, and the half with the head over here to stage right. And then he walked over there and talked to the head, and the head talked back. And then he brought the two halves back together, did some incantation, and opened the lid, and out pops the woman, full form, no blood, right?
And that's their reality.
That's their reality. And there's nothing you can tell him that he did not see that man cut that woman in half. Yeah. So rather than attack his reality and get him all defensive and ready to fight you because you're calling him a liar, basically, offer him a better perception.
Yeah.
You might say, I hear what you're saying. Hey, that's pretty cool. But is it possible that just maybe when he asked for a volunteer to come out of the audience, a female, the woman that he chose, maybe she works for him. Maybe he had planted her in that seat in the audience. She knows the trick, and she travels to every show with him. And when she climbs into the box, there's already a pair of mannequin legs lying on the floor of the box that are wearing the same stockings and same shoes that she has on. Right. She picks them up and sticks them out the hole, and she brings her own knees and legs up under her chest. So her whole body is on that side of the box. So when he passes the saw through the box, her whole body's already over there.
That's
and then he
right.
separates them. So then when he brings it back together, she pulls those legs out, leaves them on the floor, and she climbs up. And so your brother says, yeah, I guess that would be
Maybe.
the only way that could work.
Yeah, maybe.
So you've given him a better perception, and now he has changed his own reality.
Right.
So did you convince him? Indirectly, yes. But you offered him something to think about, and he arrived at that conclusion, and he convinced himself that he was wrong, that this is a far better viable option than somebody cutting this woman in half and gluing her back together or something.
Right. It's planting the seed. I mean, what's the phrase? That which you resist persists, or like you said, you can convince them or coerce or even manipulate or, dare I say, force, but it's very short term. The power really is what the method that you were talking about: offer a different reality, stand firm,
offer different perceptions,
stand firm in that offering, be clear, have it be clean, and offer it as an invitation.
Right.
Yeah.
As a possibility.